right, so since none of us are mothers with kids, we brought in Jentry for this podcast.
Welcome to the Impact Defense Podcast. We are dedicated to giving you the information that you need to help keep you safe. Now let's join our hosts, Brian, Jada, and Kylie.
All right. Ad time.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by faithandfreedomclothing.com. There you can find some awesome t-shirts. Use the coupon code IMPACTDEFENSE to get you 15% off of anything that you purchase.
And now time for the news portion of your podcast with your host, me. A New York City mother didn't hesitate when a man tried to kidnap her 5-year-old son off the streets of Queens. The man jumped out of a car, grabbed her son, he tossed the boy in the back seat of his car and got in the driver's seat. Before he had a chance to drive away, the young boy opened the rear window, and his mother was able to pull him out of the car. "You have to do what's necessary, no matter what," the mother said. "The car was just parked there. I never would have imagined that a man would get out of the car to grab my son. You always have to be aware of your surroundings and not be on your phone."
Amen to that.
Yeah. Now, I feel like there are a couple of really interesting pieces there. Mm-hmm. For one, when the son was thrown in the backseat, he's 5 years old, but he opened the window.
Yeah. I'm impressed.
Yeah. And then not only that, but his mother was able to act really quickly and get to it and pull him out. So
Awesome.
But, abductions and stuff like that don't actually happen. That's what I keep hearing online.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's abductors that are just making comments like that on people's on people's posts. So, that stuff don't actually happen.
Really?
It's overblown. Yeah.
Sure, it's just, yeah.
I
That's
feel sorry
why
for your children, sir. That sounded really harsh, but that's okay.
So basically, in this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about especially like mothers when they are in public and having to, defend themselves with kids.
Defend yourself with your kid.
Right.
Holds up toddler. It's like, time to shake up that breakfast. Sorry.
We're not going to use our kid as a weapon.
Yet.
It's like, it's okay. You'll bring them back when you accidentally hand them the wrong color plate.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen some very interesting things. Some are really good. Some really kind of suck. When it comes to actually teaching people like how to defend themselves when they have their children with them. And actually, we're doing this podcast, and you and Jada are going to be teaching an entire seminar for ladies on this coming up in just a few weeks here on January 22nd.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Looking forward to it.
Yep. So this is, let's just talk about that for just a moment, because actually this is something that a lot of mothers have asked us to do for a while. Mm-hmm. And like everything else, I don't like just like completely making stuff up. So we do research, we learn from experts, we do this type of stuff, and then we kind of bring together. So it takes us a little time to put these things together, because sure, we could just say, hey, let's just shoot from the hip and teach some stuff. But that doesn't always...
So you don't like not being professional, so instead you choose to be a professional.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But sometimes that gets me some complaints, because like, why does it take you so long to put these things together? Because I want to make sure that we're actually teaching stuff that works.
Right.
So since y'all are going to be teaching this, do you have any like basic tips that we can kind of hit the ground running with?
I think part of what we need to start with is making sure that if the children are old enough, let's say older than a baby, that there's communication of expectations when you're in public, so that your children know what's expected of them and what to respond to. Maybe some key words that you can have that are like a code word between them. My kids and I, we have some code words.
Would you like to tell them on the podcast?
No, I'm not going to tell you them. We have different code words for emergency situations. If someone else was to have to get them that would not normally get them, there is a code word that that person would be given. There are things that we've had since they were little in stores. This is just if I say this to you, you know what this means. It does not, I don't have to say, get away from that person. There are certain phrases that I'll use with them that they know that means that person might not have the best intentions, come back towards me, but we're not going to have to say anything that actually lets them know that. So maybe some things like that where you just have an understanding of how you're going to handle situations ahead of time from a very young age. I forgot what the question was.
Something simple like, what kind of snacks do you want this week?
Yes, things like that. But I still don't remember what the original question was.
What are some of the tactics that you use with your family, and what are some of the things that you recommend? And I think starting with just having that expectation set up is a great way to start.
Right.
For this mother, it was someone kidnaps you, roll down the backseat window so I can pull you out.
Right. I mean, it's evolved, because when
your kids grow.
Yeah, and it's evolved too because when I just had one, and at that time we were not doing any training, so it was just the basic of what do I need to do to make sure that I can keep my hands on my child. What situations do I not want to find myself in? And obviously it's gotten a lot more intricate as they've gotten older and we've had more kids. And have you seen the stickers that people put on the backs of their vehicles? It's like a handprint. It's a circle magnet and it's a handprint, and the kids are supposed to stand and put their hand on the vehicle, like when you're loading groceries and things like that. Have you seen those?
I have not seen those.
Okay, so it's a round magnet, and it's got a kid's handprint on it, and you stick it like right behind the door where you would have it open. And their job is to put their hand on that handprint the entire time that you're loading your groceries or whatever you're doing. Their job is to stand there so that they don't run out into traffic. I have problems with that because you're now relying on your child to take their safety into their own hands and be responsible to keep their hand on that.
Yeah, I can see some pros and cons with that.
I've had a lot of friends several years ago who were all getting those, and they were so excited because this is going to keep my kids safe in public. And it really bothered me, the fact that first of all they're putting it in it's their child's responsibility to make sure that they keep their hand on that sticker and that they're safe. That also is giving the parents a false sense of safety security for their child, because they are just, they're fine. They've got their hand there. I know where they are. I'm doing this. But you're no longer in contact with your child. You don't have your hand on your child. You don't know what can be happening with that. So that is one thing that I have issues with that a lot of people think are really helpful. So that's one thing I've tried to tell people not to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had ever seen that.
I have not, no.
Yeah. If you ever see a little handprint on a vehicle, that's what they are.
I guess one thing initial thing that I think about is, because we do a lot of stuff in like abduction prevention and stuff like that. That is an automatic signal to somebody saying, they have small children.
Yes, it is.
That's my biggest. I get the concept, and the concept itself, I'm not like completely against, but yeah, it's an automatic hey, look, they probably have small kids, and when they come out with their groceries, they're probably going to be small kids with them.
And this is the side they're going to be on. This is where the child's going to stand right there in that spot.
How can I get to this spot and away from this spot without them seeing me?
Right. It's like you give them the opportunity to plan something when you've already told them what you're going to be doing before you ever come out.
Now, you said it's magnetic, and if the person were just to set it out there when they are unloading their groceries, I mean, that would be a little bit different.
That would be a little different, yes.
Because they wouldn't be able to notice it beforehand. But you still have the problem of if you rely too heavily on it,
right,
you might not pay as much attention to what your child is doing.
For me, I always had them hold on to my belt loop on my pants or something. If I had to turn away and use both hands, their job was to hold on to the belt loop in my pants. That way I could feel their hand. I knew it was there. That's from the time they could walk, if they were not in a stroller. They had to be holding on to me.
That's like if something goes down.
Yes. Yeah. Anything that happens, you have to hold on to my belt loops. When I was first learning to drive, my dad always told me, never park beside the shopping cart returns. Never, never, never park beside them, because you're going to ding the vehicle. Other people are going to ding the vehicle and everything. Very first thing I learned after I had a child was always park beside the
Yes.
return.
Yeah.
Always. Because then you're not having to leave a child in the vehicle or carry a child back and forth with you. It also keeps a vehicle from parking on that side of you. So you have a whole car's length or car's width beside you. I would always try to make sure it was on my driver's side, was
Yeah.
the way I parked it. Just to try to have something there that was not a vehicle. Nobody was going to be that close, and I didn't have to step away from the car.
Start thinking more about safety than the little dings on the vehicle. I get it.
Yeah.
I had a guy, it's funny, I went through training several times, and the question would come up a lot of times, like putting kids in the vehicle and stuff like that. And most of these guys, I'm going to talk about high level guys, and most of these guys would just say, there is never a more vulnerable time than that time when you're strapping that kid into a car seat. I got you. I do. And then I kept hearing that, and my brain just kind of goes right down that alley because I think, okay, well, nobody's got a good answer for this. And then I heard a guy one time say something, and I thought, how in the world has nobody ever thought of this? And it was just very simple in the fact that get the kids into the vehicle, shut the door, you get in the front seat, and shut and lock the door, and then turn around and strap them in their car seat.
Right.
How can something so simple be just so elusive to everyone,
Right.
including myself? You know, and I've been doing this kind of stuff for years, and I lean toward liking the common sense type stuff that
Right.
makes really good sense. But, you know, apparently I didn't think of that either. And-
See, I've always done that when it was raining.
yeah.
So I didn't have to stand in the rain while I was buckling my kids in. But I typically
Yeah.
didn't do it if it wasn't raining. I just
Yeah.
did it and went on. But if it was raining, I also got out the same way. We unbuckled everybody, and I'd have them crawl up to my seat and then just grab and go. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. And it is, depending on your vehicle, a pain to do that sometimes. But,
Yeah, I mean,
it is, especially if you suspect that you're in a situation.
Yeah,
it's
and
a
I
good
think
thing
that's
to
a
do
lot
in
of
those.
a lot of things. So people say, like, you know, I've been in a situation in a parking lot, and I got to get my kid strapped into their car seat, my toddler strapped in, or something like that, and they said, you know, this just, it was so like scary in the moment. And I wasn't really sure what to do, and you know, how do you do that? And I'm like, at the time, I was like, really watch, look around, buckle them up, look around, you know, deal with buckle or
Yeah.
look around, and because I mean, at the moment, I never thought about that, and then I sat in on that one guy's thing, and he was saying that, I was like, how stupid am I that I've never thought about that? But yeah, we did the same thing when Kylie was small. You know, if it was raining, open the door, put her in, shut the door, hop in the front, close the door, lock the. Well, I don't know if I lock the doors or not.
Right.
But and then turn around and buckle her in.
Yeah.
So
But now that I have older kids, I just tell them, you know, make sure you're watching. And they watch my back while I'm
Yeah.
buckling somebody in. But, you know, when, especially in that first child, when you're by yourself and you just
My
have
mom
them.
used to have us buckle our siblings in. Once we were old enough to know how to do that, she was like, all right, I'm going to start loading the groceries. I can see you through the back seat. Buckle your sibling in, get in, and shut the doors and everything.
Yep.
But she also had us have a hand on the buggy during the entire
Right.
grocery trip.
yeah, I think there's just a lot of little things that I know y'all are going to be covering during that time, like basic self-defense and different things like that. But along those lines, like how to have your kids do certain things at certain times and for different ages, because like you said, it makes a huge difference. You've got
does.
everything from like a 15-year-old to a toddler.
Preschooler. But yeah, 15 to preschool. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't.
Close enough.
They're all under kindergarten. They're all toddlers to me.
Basically.
Just yeah, when you have anything in that range, you know, different kids will be doing different things. Different ages do different things. You know, so
Different personalities
yeah,
do different things. One of my kids was a runner. None of the others were. If I went into Walmart and he wasn't buckled into a stroller, straight off he would go. And there was one time I had to yell at one of the workers. I just happened to know her. I had worked with her daughter years ago, and I saw her. I knew what department she was in, and as I was running through there chasing him, I knew where he was headed. I knew where she was, and I yelled at her to grab him, and she jumped out in front of him and grabbed him. I mean,
I've caught other people's kids in the
have
grocery
too.
store before. Like, I see, like, Tyler or a small child running, and between... And I just see the parent chasing after them, like, come back here! And I'm just like... This yours? I did it at Carowinds one time with a girl who was about to run into the road.
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, she was running, she's like giggling, and the parents are like, come back, and it's super crowded, and I was just, oh crap. I like pick her up and hold her up, like, I promise I'm not here to take her, just didn't want to run into the road.
Yeah. But yeah, it just depends on, because some of the kids listen really well and follow those instructions and understand what they're doing, and other kids just take off running because, hey, this will be fun. You know, let's make mom run through the grocery store yelling and chasing me.
Yeah.
None of us were like that, but a couple of us had ADHD, and we're just kind of walking through the grocery store like, oh, look at this. Just like, hand on the buggy.
Yeah.
I still remember that feeling. I'll put 2 hands on. Is that better? But I think hand on the buggy or hand on me, like teaching them to maybe like hold on to your pockets or like the top of your pants if you say something to them or something like that. Like, if they know that their job when you say a specific thing is to hold on to some part of you really tight, that is a really great first step. Well, maybe not first step. First step is the awareness and
Right.
and everything, but just getting them to understand to hold on really tight to you or to run if you say run. Those are kind of important steps.
Yep. So, yeah, and I like the idea where you were talking about kind of saying a certain phrase or so to kind of get them to get on the other side of you, you know, and kind of put you in between them and whatever the person or something is. So, yeah. Well, I am. Well, I mean, y'all are teaching this. I won't be teaching this, but I'm looking forward to hearing about how everybody.
We do need to get a
likes that.
format set up for that.
It'd be cool if we could get ahead of time questions from people, maybe situations that they've had,
Hey.
that we could have a chance to take those and work those issues out and then present those when we teach the seminar.
Yep.
Maybe we could start like asking those questions today.
Also, if you have any suggestions on this and you're listening to this before January 22nd, go ahead and, you know, send us an email. You can email us directly through our website at impactdefense.online, and, you know, bring up some ideas and questions on that, because that will help.
So we're going to be having this seminar January 22nd. That's a Saturday. We're going to have it from 1 to 5. We're not bringing children, right?
Right. So we'll have some stand-in children that way that.
Yes, stand-in children for you to practice on. And are we going to be working around? We're going to be working in here and around vehicles, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Wear comfortable clothes.
Yes.
Tennis shoes, preferably.
And dress warm because it's January.
Yeah.
Of course, it's also North Carolina, so you could be shorts and a t-shirt. I don't know.
Anything is possible here.
But again, check out that information at impactdefense.online and just look under the training section.
And for heaven's sake, whenever you're teaching your kids these things, make it fun. Like, make it something that they want to participate in and everything, and that it's not going to be something that they defy you on, because when you make it fun, it's a whole lot easier to get them to actually do things.
Yeah.
But it'll create habits that click in at just the right times.
Right.
And do it enough that it becomes ingrained in something that they're, it's their first idea on what to do.
If you're looking for any kind of self-defense tools, tactical pins, tactical flashlights, stuff like that, a decent SWAT knife I like on there as well, check out theatomicbear.com, and anything on there, if you use the coupon code Impact Defense, it'll get you 20% off. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. I gave you a few tips. If you are interested in coming to the seminar, just check out impactdefense.online, and you can sign up there. you can give us a call. You can contact us. You can do whatever. Okay, we'll see if we can answer your questions. Send your questions in, actually, if you have any questions or suggestions for that. Because we always get these questions that come up, and sometimes it takes a little research to come back with the best answer possible. So if you wait until the day of and then you ask us a question, that's perfectly fine. We're very happy, but to be honest with you, there's times we're going to look at you and say, well, at this present moment, I would say this. If we have time to make sure that we can come back with the best information possible, then we will make sure that we already are covering that in that way. Do not forget, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Go over there, write a review. We'd really appreciate some actual reviews to read. And
Thank you guys so much for listening. Stay safe, stay alert, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Impact Defense Podcast. If you would like to learn more about how to keep yourself safe, check out the articles, videos, courses, and seminars at www.impactdefense.online. We also do training for security teams, churches, businesses, groups, and more. Stay sharp, stay focused, and train hard.